The glitz and glamour of celebrity culture often push the boundaries of imagination, transforming ordinary living spaces into extraordinary monuments of wealth and personal taste. In the exclusive neighborhoods of California, where sprawling estates stretch across sun-drenched hillsides, the elite constantly seek new ways to redefine the meaning of luxury. From private recording studios and massive indoor sports complexes to underground car garages and multi-tiered botanical gardens, the desire to stand out remains a driving force among modern icons. Millions of followers watch through their screens as pop stars, actors, and digital influencers open the doors to their multi-million-dollar sanctuaries, showcasing lifestyles that seem entirely detached from reality. It is a world where financial limitations do not exist, and every creative whim can be brought to life with the simple swipe of a credit card or the signing of a massive production deal. The architecture of these modern palaces is designed to shock and awe, turning ordinary residential properties into highly curated masterpieces meant to reflect the unique personality and status of their high-profile owners. When you step inside one of these properties, you are not just entering a home, you are entering a private universe tailored exclusively to the desires of the individual who built it. As a viewer, it is easy to get lost in the sheer scale of this opulence, mesmerized by the artistic design choices, the rare materials, and the specialized installations that separate the ultra-wealthy from the rest of society. If you find yourself captivated by these fascinating insights into the lives of global superstars and want to stay updated on the latest trends, controversies, and breaking news from the world of entertainment, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join our growing community so you never miss another deep dive into the stories that shape our cultural landscape. The public fixation on celebrity real estate has created a massive market for digital house tours, where audiences are granted an intimate look at the private spaces of their favorite public figures. These tours are no longer just simple magazine spreads. Instead, they have evolved into high-energy digital broadcasts, hosted by popular internet personalities and live streamers who bridge the gap between ordinary viewers and the upper echelons of Hollywood. In these videos, fans watch as every corner of a mansion is explored, from the primary master suites to the subterranean entertainment hubs. The tone is typically celebratory, filled with mutual admiration as the host marvels at the sheer scale of the investment and the genius of the engineering required to construct such complex features. For the celebrity, it is a chance to solidifying their cultural footprint and display the rewards of a highly successful, decades-long career. For the audience, it offers a fascinating glimpse into a standard of living that few will ever experience firsthand, sparking endless conversations across social media platforms about taste, design, and the limitlessness of immense wealth. These videos frequently go viral, racking up millions of views in a matter of hours as fans dissect every design choice, from the light fixtures to the custom furniture, discussing what they would build if they ever managed to achieve that level of financial freedom. Yet, while most of these virtual tours focus on traditional markers of high society like infinity pools or home theaters, occasionally a feature is revealed that shifts the conversation entirely, crossing the line from standard architectural marvel into something far more unexpected and deeply polarizing. When global pop sensation Jason Derulo invited a popular internet broadcaster into his stunning $15 million estate in Tarzana, California, the world anticipated the usual display of high-end cars, state-of-the-art music equipment, and pristine modern architecture. Derulo, who has spent over a decade dominating global music charts with infectious hits like Whatcha Say and Talk Dirty, has long been known for his vibrant personality and his ability to command attention both on stage and across digital platforms. His sprawling Southern California property is a testament to that massive success, serving as a creative sanctuary and a luxurious playground designed entirely from the ground up to match his grand artistic vision. As the camera moved through the grand hallways and immaculate living areas of the estate, the broadcast felt like a familiar celebration of the American dream realized at its highest level. The audience watched as the singer showed off the custom amenities that make his residence one of the most unique properties in the area, explaining the immense amount of personal oversight, creative energy, and financial investment required to turn his complex architectural sketches into physical reality. The atmosphere was light and casual, typical of a high-profile home tour, where the primary objective is to entertain and impress an audience of millions who follow the star's daily life and creative endeavors. YouTube, however, as the tour moved deeper into the heart of the main living pavilion, the casual nature of the video shifted into absolute astonishment. The host was guided toward the center of the main living space, where the floor itself transformed into a window overlooking an entirely different ecosystem. Embedded directly beneath the polished floorboards of the primary living area was a massive, custom-built circular marine sanctuary, glowing with soft, specialized illumination. Covered entirely by ultra-thick, structural glass designed to support the weight of multiple adults walking across it, the installation offered an unobstructed view into a subterranean aquatic environment. Looking down, visitors were not met with traditional decorative stonework or a standard swimming pool structure, but rather with the hypnotic, fluid movements of apex oceanic predators and elegant marine life gliding through the water directly beneath their feet. The immediate visual impact was undeniably theatrical, creating the distinct illusion of walking directly on top of the open ocean while remaining inside the climate-controlled comfort of a luxury living room. It was a design feature that went far beyond typical residential architecture, representing an engineering feat that blurred the line between a private domestic dwelling and a public marine exhibit, instantly setting the internet ablaze with fascination, curiosity, and intense debate regarding the logistics of bringing the wild ocean into the center of a modern California mansion. The reveal of the massive subterranean installation beneath the living room floor immediately transformed the casual home tour into a global focal point for discussion, highlighting the immense structural and financial commitment required to execute such a project. Jason Derulo explained during the broadcast that bringing this particular vision to life demanded an incredible amount of time, coordination, and resources, requiring a complex collaboration between multiple highly specialized industries. The initial construction phase began with traditional pool manufacturers, who were tasked with digging out and reinforcing the massive concrete shell directly underneath the foundations of the residence, ensuring the structure could withstand the immense pressure of holding thousands of gallons of salt water. Once the basic structural foundation was completed, the project was handed over to a team of professional aquarium engineers who installed the complex life support systems, advanced filtration units, and synthetic reef environments necessary to sustain marine life inside a closed domestic loop. However, the process was not without its aesthetic setbacks, as the pop star revealed that the initial flooring choice failed to showcase the aquatic animals with the level of clarity he desired. Unsatisfied with the original presentation, he made the executive decision to completely rip out the existing materials and install a brilliant white background, a design modification specifically chosen to maximize visibility and allow the sharp silhouettes of the sharks and stingrays to contrast vividly against the bottom of the enclosure. To ensure the ongoing health of the animals and the pristine clarity of the display, a dedicated team of aquarium professionals visits the Tarzana estate every 48 hours, conducting rigorous chemical water testing, checking the sophisticated automated filtration systems, and manually scrubbing the glass to prevent the buildup of algae or debris, as video clips of the luxurious glass-floored sanctuary began circulating rapidly across major social media networks. Particularly TikTok, the initial wave of superficial fascination quickly gave way to severe scrutiny from global environmental organizations and animal rights advocates. The International Fund for Animal Welfare, a prominent global nonprofit dedicated to the protection and conservation of wildlife, took a strong public stance against the domestic installation, accusing the multi-platinum recording artist of setting a dangerous example for his massive international audience. Representatives from the organization expressed deep concern over the normalization of keeping large, highly sensitive marine predators in private residential properties, arguing that such displays reduce complex wild animals to mere interior design accessories. In an official statement, Christian Plowman, the program manager for wildlife cybercrime at the organization, emphasized that sharks around the globe are currently facing unprecedented ecological pressures, pushed to the brink of survival by a combination of unsustainable commercial overfishing, widespread marine pollution, and the systematic destruction of their natural coastal habitats. With numerous shark species now officially classified as vulnerable, threatened, or critically endangered, conservationists argue that treating these vital oceanic creatures as status symbols severely undermines global efforts to educate the public about the urgent need to protect marine biodiversity and preserve the delicate balance of our planet's ocean. The critique from wildlife experts extended far beyond the walls of the California mansion, connecting the celebrity home display to a much broader and more destructive global issue, the illicit exotic pet trade. Conservation officials pointed out that the rising demand for private luxury aquariums and high-end residential marine displays acts as a powerful economic driver for the capture and trafficking of wild marine wildlife. To illustrate the scale of this hidden global crisis, references were made to recent major law enforcement operations, including a massive international seizure in Argentina where authorities intercepted more than 700 trafficked marine animals destined for private buyers. This major law enforcement operation served as a stark, troubling reminder that the underground market for exotic wildlife extends well beyond the land animals traditionally associated with smuggling, such as primates, exotic birds, or big cats. Increasingly specialized marine species, including rare sharks, elegant stingrays, and fragile coral reef fish, are being aggressively targeted by poachers in their native habitats to satisfy the growing appetite of wealthy collectors who desire unique, living centerpieces for their private properties. When influential figures with millions of followers showcase these animals as harmless home decorations, it inadvertently validates this harmful market, sending a damaging message that the natural world is a commodity to be owned, reshaped, and displayed for personal entertainment. The backlash intensified across digital platforms as the public began to debate the ethical responsibilities that come with massive wealth, fame, and cultural influence. Conservationists directly challenged the narrative presented in the viral home tour, pointing out that true admiration for a species should manifest as support for its preservation in the wild rather than its confinement beneath a living room floor. The organization argued that if a public figure possesses a genuine fascination for these remarkable marine creatures, they should leverage their enormous digital platform as a powerful force for environmental advocacy, challenging historical misconceptions about sharks and raising vital awareness about ocean conservation. Instead, by presenting the private ownership of apex marine predators as the ultimate marker of financial success, the display actively feeds the digital algorithms that reward shocking, extravagant content, which in turn fuels the consumer demand that sustains the exotic pet industry. Social media users quickly echoed these sentiments, filling comment sections with expressions of disapproval, calling the installation inherently cruel and arguing that confining wide-ranging ocean animals to a confined domestic tank is a heartbreaking manifestation of hyperwealth. The stark contrast between the natural, endless expanse of the open ocean and the rigid boundaries of a white-bottomed concrete tank beneath a mansion became a flashpoint for a larger conversation about human entitlement over the animal kingdom, turning what was intended to be a showcase of architectural triumph into a controversial symbol of ecological insensitivity. The growing friction between luxury home design and the principles of ethical wildlife conservation raises critical questions about the legal frameworks governing the ownership of exotic animals in the United States. Under current California state law, keeping certain smaller, non-endangered shark species in private residential aquariums remains entirely legal, provided the owner complies with specific fish and wildlife regulations regarding procurement and transport. However, animal welfare organizations, marine biologists, and environmental advocates have long stood in fierce united opposition to these permissive legal loopholes, arguing that the law lags far behind our modern understanding of marine biology and animal behavior. Experts point out that sharks and stingrays are highly evolved, wide-ranging creatures that rely on complex sensory systems to navigate vast oceanic trenches, perceive electromagnetic fields, and swim continuous, unobstructed distances every single day. Confining these animals to a closed domestic tank, regardless of how advanced the filtration systems are or how frequently a professional maintenance team visits the estate, restricts their natural behaviors, subjects them to artificial lighting schedules, and exposes them to the continuous acoustic vibrations of a busy household. Environmental groups continue to lobby for stricter legislation that would classify private ownership of these marine species as a regulated or prohibited practice, aiming to close the gap between what is technically legal under state statutes and what is truly ethical from a conservation perspective. This intense fascination with the deep ocean and its apex predators is not a recent development for Jason Derulo, but rather a long-standing personal interest that has manifested in various aspects of his public and private life over the years. This passion was vividly on display when the international pop star celebrated the second birthday of his young son, Jason King, throwing an incredibly lavish, shark-themed birthday celebration that became a major topic of discussion across social media platforms. The highly publicized event spared no expense, featuring an elaborate, multi-tiered cake inspired by popular aquatic animations, complete with vibrant marine decorations, customized oceanic props, and dramatic sparklers that lit up the outdoor venue. For many fans, the party was viewed as a creative and heartwarming expression of a father sharing his personal love for marine life with his child, showcasing the playful, family-oriented side of the famous entertainer. However, in light of the recent controversy surrounding the subterranean living room aquarium, critics look back at these earlier events through a different lens, viewing them as early indicators of a broader pattern where wild marine animals are consistently utilized as theatrical backdrops for personal milestones and luxury entertainment. This long-standing connection to marine themes highlights that the installation of the $1 million shark tank was not a spontaneous design impulse, but rather the culmination of a deeply ingrained personal obsession that the artist has actively cultivated and integrated into his family lifestyle. The unfolding controversy surrounding the Tarzana estate has triggered a much larger global conversation about the profound societal impact of celebrity culture and the immense responsibility that comes with possessing an audience of tens of millions of followers. Conservation groups like the International Fund for Animal Welfare emphasize that in the modern digital age, a celebrity's home is no longer a completely private sanctuary, but rather a highly visible broadcasting platform where lifestyle choices are instantly globalized, analyzed, and replicated. When prominent influencers and chart-topping musicians showcase wild animals as central interior design features, the consequences ripple outward across the internet, normalizing the commodification of fragile wildlife and altering public perceptions of what is acceptable. Environmental advocates urge the public to recognize the power of their own digital footprint, calling on social media users to actively resist liking, sharing, or engaging with content that portrays exotic animals as domestic pets or luxury accessories. Every view, comment, and share feeds into the powerful algorithms that drive digital media trends, inadvertently generating commercial value and prestige around practices that harm natural ecosystems. By shifting public engagement away from the glorification of private exotic collections, society can begin to turn the tide against the commercial forces that push remarkable marine species closer to the edge of extinction, ensuring that wild animals are respected as vital components of our planet's oceans rather than symbols of human extravagance. The journey of Jason Derulo, from a young, aspiring songwriter in Florida to a global icon with billions of streams, is a testament to his undeniable work ethic, creative versatility, and unique ability to capture the public imagination. Throughout his illustrious career, he has successfully navigated the rapidly changing landscape of the music industry, evolving from a traditional R&B and pop vocalist into one of the most dominant forces on modern short-form video platforms. His ability to connect with audiences through highly entertaining, visually spectacular content has allowed him to maintain an incredibly high level of cultural relevance, making him a household name for multiple generations of music fans. Yet, as this recent aquarium controversy demonstrates, the very same digital platforms that propelled him to the pinnacle of modern stardom also serve as a mechanism for intense public accountability and ethical scrutiny. The ongoing debate over his $1 million